Is that Rolo? Who is that?
Right beside you?
Rolo.
It is
Yeah,
Rolo.
yeah, I think that's Rolo. I haven't seen Rolo in here in fucking forever.
Nope, I don't know what that is.
You literally a terrorist. 100%.
I'm not a terrorist. I'm chief trading.
Literally a terrorist. Yep. Valid.
That was a good flip, sir.
Nobody arrested him.
Mike Oxfig's here? I haven't seen Mike Oxfig in forever.
If I see
Your
anybody get
cock's big?
arrested
What'd you say?
today, I'm gonna be pretty pissed because that dude needs to get arrested.
Who?
He
A
literally
terrorist,
bombed
man.
I
the
never
whole,
got that
the
name
whole
until just
courtroom.
now.
Who did?
God, Evie looks really terrified while she's
I
sitting
can
over
send you
here.
the body footage.
Is
You
this
see this?
Narcotics Anonymous?
Yeah, she's terrified of you guys.
It is.
You guys are surrounding her. Look at her.
Evie's
So
always
she's-
terrifying.
She's
So,
cowering in the
oh,
corner
shit.
because there's 5 of you surrounding her.
Hey, no assaulting cops in here.
Alright.
It's 7 minutes after the meeting. She's
We've already been
For real though.
So it's like a normal meeting.
Can we get this meeting started here?
So a meeting adjourned,
You guys
right?
all hear us?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
There's so many people in here.
Why does he have a gun out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll stay in the middle. I would say maybe just get in a range where you can actually hear us from the middle.
Actually, I can hear from right here.
I swear we did it last time and it was fine, but I guess the range is not as.
Yeah, we
Oh
probably
god. Distance. Keep some distance. Keep some
Yeah, yeah.
distance.
Still, keep behind the actual tables there.
Hey, watch
Okay, if you're sitting in front, that's fine. Just
Why don't we
a
just
little
stand?
space.
That might
Why
have
don't we
been a
just
little
stand up
dramatic.
like
Put PD on one side.
Fine,
guns
yeah.
on
If
the
you all
other.
want to fucking sit on the ground, I'll
Yeah,
come
everybody.
sit
Yeah,
that
just
way.
sit. Yeah,
We
just
should
sit.
have done this
Just
in
sit.
jail with all the crimson cells.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Who?
That's messed up.
You guys.
I mean, if they can
You start
hear,
arresting
whatever.
Guy, calm down.
What?
Bro, everyone with a warrant is gonna get
I
arrested.
mean, yeah, John might shoot you. I can't promise he won't. All right, so let's try to keep the violence to a minimum from here on out.
There was so many vape clouds.
Is it weird that I'm hard?
Yeah,
I won't have to shoot you in the head.
Yeah, John
Sorry,
will
what
shoot
the
you. So
fuck?
can everybody hear me? Can you guys in the back
Yes.
actually hear?
Yes,
I'm
God.
rotating on my erect.
I can hear.
Okay, as long as you guys in the back can hear, then we're good. Chip, you got
Yes, sir.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think I'm the furthest away, and I can hear you fine.
Awesome.
I mean, I didn't hear Chip, but all right.
I heard him. He can.
I wasn't
Chip,
shouting. You're
I
good.
can't hear him is what's happening. All right, yeah.
You're good.
Anyways, so many things, I guess the first thing is obviously I know we've all been waiting on this update for quite some time now. So we're putting an official hard deadline on it, which is not really a hard deadline, but this weekend, not right after this, because there is still a few things. Plenty more that will be coming in the weeks after that, but just putting out what we have now to get you guys some new stuff. And I mean, there's already some things that we've mentioned. We don't really want to give every little detail away. There will be some changes like using the targeting system Third Eye, and basically it's not going to be on everything right away, so don't expect that. It's going to be rolled out as we go, but just to get you guys used to it, we're going to have it on a few things. Jack probably remembers better than I do exactly what things those are, but like we've got it like on the fuel, on the banking. I can't hear him. I don't think he's shouting.
Yeah, I would just make sure you read the change log.
But yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
definitely
before you
read
go
the
running
change
around,
log
'cause
when
some
we
key
post
log's
that.
gonna change too.
It is going to be pretty long, but there's some changes in there to the way that tackling works, a few other things, and there's just going to be some new, games, activities, etc. around, including an update to Plasma game with Capture the Orb, which is basically Capture the Flag, so that'll be cool. And I'd actually like to get like a full large-scale game going. So we've got a legitimate rules document. It is like 10 pages long, so everything is explained and defined in there. We'll be posting that, and there were a few specific rules that we wanted to address as people are not following them or are finding new rules that we need to write. So there is some stuff there, and then also just going over the specifics of the green zones, what will be a green zone, what won't be. So let me start with the green zones right now. So the green zones are going to be, and just for anyone who doesn't know, a green zone is an area where no violence is allowed. That would be kidnapping, killing, anything, hostage taking, anything of that sort, any kind of violent activity. So we're considering apartments. When we say apartments, we mean the area inside the walls surrounding the building and inside the building itself, which obviously means inside your individual apartment. So not the parking lot, not the drive next to it, not the street in front of it, if anyone doesn't understand the area I'm talking about, let us know after. But literally, those walls that surround the apartment building, so the steps in front of the building, around the back, inside those walls is a green zone. So understand as a player that if you go outside that area and you're AFK and you're not paying attention, you are liable to get kidnapped or killed or something. That
Or if
being
you leave your
said,
car, it could get
right,
stolen.
stealing cars, obviously, if you're leaving them out there, they could very well be stolen. So on that note of AFKing, obviously AFKing to just collect a paycheck and not actually do anything for extended periods of time is not allowed. I mean, obviously shit happens. We all go AFK sometimes, so it's not like you have to freak out. And obviously you do get kicked after a certain period of time. But no, anything that involves any software, any tool to keep yourself from getting kicked, just specifically to collect money, is not okay. So from the other side, robbing AFK players is not allowed, just as robbing downed players is not allowed. So we did want to just make sure that was clear to everybody. If you're going to rob someone, first of all, just don't rob someone who's just AFK in the middle of apartments or in a green zone. But also, you can't kill somebody so they're downed and then rob them. You need to rob them first. If you kill them afterwards, that's different, but you cannot kill somebody first and then rob them. So I just wanted to make that clear as well. Back on the green zones, we've got pillbox, which is going to be the interior of the building, driveway outside, so the main drive out front, basically to the curb, so that includes the parking lot there, and then pillbox down on the other side when you go downstairs, the building, and out through that driveway out to the curb as well. So those are all green zones, and that also needs to be said that this does not mean that you can't escape from the police and use violence to escape from the police. But what we're saying in the like apartment, no killing, no nothing, right? But pillbox and also for police departments, you can't go there trying to initiate a new violent scene. You can't go kidnap somebody from pillbox. You can't go kidnap somebody from the police station or kidnap a police officer from the police station or something like that. It really has to do with, if you are a criminal trying to escape from a police station, from pillbox, you could do that. You can use violence to do that. So I just wanted to explain the nuance of that, because really the thing is we don't want people running around beating the shit out of each other for no reason or just shooting up PD because they feel like it. Those things are what we're trying to avoid. So that really covers it. PD, it's the same thing. Outside the PD, totally fine. You can steal a cop car. And yes, you can steal a cop car. I know some people thought maybe you couldn't. That's pretty much it there. We do want to reiterate the 4-person rule in all criminal scenarios, robberies, heists, whatever. You have to limit yourself to 4 people. And, that's really just to prevent a large swarm of 15 people going and trying to do a bank or something like that. So 4 is the limit on that. That will be in the rules document as well. We're not talking about the size of your gang. We don't have a cap on gang size at this time. So that's not including how many people can be in your organization, just how many can be doing an activity at once when it's a criminal activity. I think that pretty much covers the green zones, the 4-person. Another new thing that is going to be on the rules, but also just wanted to mention here, so masks. This is kind of going to suck for some people. I feel bad for Resnar. So basically, masks, full face masks, will be considered probable cause for police to search you. And that's anywhere at any time. The main reason for this is that some people are attempting to avoid being just caught for any prior crime by wearing a mask 24/7, whatever they do. So if you're wearing a full face mask, you don't necessarily have to submit to the search. This is going to be handled in RP. So it's not specifically a rule in terms of, you'll get in trouble for wearing a mask all the time. It's that you are going to potentially be stopped by a police officer. You may be searched, and this is just to prevent that from happening. Now, this doesn't count partial face coverings. So, medical masks, bandanas, anything like that. We're talking strictly full face masks.
So I would be fine.
You have a
However,
question behind you.
someone in a monkey mask right now, or that yellow smiley face over there, would get pulled for probable.
Technically, yeah. I mean, that
full
is.
face.
Yeah, I mean, and so there is a question that could be had about whether or not we're talking fully encompassing the head, or if it's just covering your face, but you can still see the hair. But I mean, we can get some community input on that and see how people feel. It's just there are people who are Yeah, even well, if you're a non-criminal, they don't know if you're a criminal or a non. How would they know?
Don't get me wrong.
So-
Police can obviously assume that I'm in a gang. I'm clearly wearing colours and I've got the mask on for a gang.
This is true.
So they can assume that as well, and they can, you know, if they're doing probable cause for gang activity, then that's
Okay,
That's
I
a
can't
completely
even see
different
behind
situation.
me, so that's maybe a problem with people being behind me. So, all right, if people have questions about those particular things, we could take those questions. That's fine. Just let's do it one at a time. Okay, are you raising your hands?
yeah. Raise your hands and I'll point a gun at you.
Okay,
You
John,
raising
start
your hands in
pointing,
front?
I
This
guess.
purple guy, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Nick, you raising your hands? No.
I honestly
okay.
don't know.
Let's start with the officer behind us then.
Alrighty, so the foreman to a job. Does this count when you ask people to be hostages and they agree? You don't kidnap them, you ask them. They become a part of your team.
So hostages do not count as part of the criminal group. Unless they're doing robbing, and then they're not really hostage.
Or helping in any way towards the
But they're
actual crime.
helping by coming in and being a hostage. You're not taking them against their will.
Well, I think that's a question I've wanted to ask the people for a while now, because I mean, on the one hand, you can't really involuntarily
With the
subject
green
somebody
zone
to an
being the
hour of
zone,
RP.
People at the apartments can be taken now, so it makes it a little bit easier to actually grab hostages.
Yeah, I mean, if they're fucking around outside the walls, then yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With it being shrunk down the way it is now,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier to take people.
Yeah, because there will be people there.
Also, I would just like to say, if 4 people rolled up, let's say 4 red guys rolled up on, let's say 10 purples, the 10 purples can react. You've decided to make this scene, be in the small group of 4. You've started that iteration. The 10 can turn around and shoot back. They're not hands tied. Gonna have to decide which 4. So let's move on to the red-haired lady.
For the question, like for civilians, if they go into gang territory by accident, does the gangs have the right to shoot?
Without some sort of interaction first. I mean, and just, it's kind of on a case by case level, but like the proper RP would be the first time to tell somebody to leave the territory. The next time, maybe you escalate a little bit. But jumping straight to shooting somebody in the face without even saying a word to them is definitely not okay.
So if I told you I was at apartments to stay hell out of Grove, and then an hour later I saw you in Grove, I can shoot you.
Yeah, that'd
or
be
get the
one thing.
interaction. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah,
the
you
absolute
just can't be
limit.
shooting people on site in any circumstance, including gang territory.
Yeah, absolutely. We still have some sort of code of RP. Man in the red coat.
Okay, so y'all know how Reznor got his mask like surgically.
I know, and that was what I was thinking about as a
Yeah, I was like,
little
because
problem.
he's now being able to get conducted to a search 24/7.
So
I
if
mean,
that's his face, if
I
that's
wouldn't-
his face,
I
and he's claiming
wouldn't-
that's his face.
I
he's never
wouldn't
allowed to take
say
it off.
being searced. Identify
So,
yourself.
If the police
All
pull
right.
up and they see it's Reznor,
I
he says,
think
"Look,
you
this
should
is
have
my
to
face,"
identify
he's never allowed to
yourself.
pull it off.
Well, I mean, that's a legitimate question, because yeah, if he's not changing that mask to do a bank robbery, if he is, well, that's kind of a different story, you know? If he's
So,
literally
well,
wearing
for-
that mask,
there is-
everything he does all the time, you could consider that an exception.
Sometimes the rules will be slightly bent towards certain RP. Obviously, we'd have to have a discussion with Reznor. If that's going to be his face and he decides not to change mask, then that's on him. He's taking that slight disadvantage, you know? Yeah, I've heard the same
It
thing.
is his face. I mean,
I've like
yeah,
never
but
seen
the
him without
question
the
is, does he
mask
put
on.
a face when he goes and
Absolutely,
does
yeah.
the job?
I mean, a helmet over it, like a motorcycle helmet,
No,
fair enough.
he doesn't do that. I've fixed it with him.
We've also got the question behind us too, John.
I'm going to go around clockwise, bro.
Okay.
Anti-clockwise,
Okay.
sorry.
What about like wearing a mask in government buildings? Can that like not be allowed? Like over at Pillbox? Like I've noticed that in different places.
We're not allowed to wear a suit of armor in Buckingham Palace, so hell no. Next.
All right.
Buckingham Palace?
So, but this like full
Fuck
mask
me,
thing,
bro.
just being able to be like, like having to identify yourself every single time you get into it, like a police just kind of sees you wearing a full mask seems like a bit much. It should
Well,
be
but have to.
without
That's the
probable cause.
You don't have to, bro.
No.
Well, they make it like you have to. Every single
Run.
time that I've had the interaction from this so far has been you have to identify
Run.
yourself. If I tell
Well, no,
them,
well, yeah, that's
if
the-
I tell
the-
them no, they're gonna put me in cuffs.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
that
they're
was-
gonna
yeah.
they're gonna
that was
detain
the
me.
idea, to detain you and identify. I mean,
They don't
They don't
just
have to- they don't have to
identify
take you
you.
to
They
jail, though.
detain me and then they jail me for like 5 months for whatever reason.
I mean, I guess you could argue it's like obstruction of justice, but I don't know we have a specific thing in our penal
And,
codes about
I
that.
mean,
So that I
failure to
think is a little
identify.
questionable, but
There
I
is
mean,
failure to
also-
identify
but-
and obstruction of justice.
Back
I mean,
in
we can have a
England,
discussion about that.
I've been stopped by police and searched for moving hair out of my face, so I don't think wearing a mask, getting searched for that is really that unreasonable, you know.
Yeah.
I think the whole reasoning here, and this is why
He means
I'm
IRL, by the way.
disagreement with the reasoning.
I do.
here.
I mean, IRL, yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
the reasoning here is that people are wearing masks 24/7 so that they can never be identified by cops in any circumstance. So they go do a bank and then they get out, they wear another mask, and they just never take it off ever. And so there's really no incentive for them to do that. Why ever be identified? I mean, in most places you can't really walk around wearing a full face mask without somebody asking you what you're doing, you know? You're going to walk into a mall in a balaclava, somebody's probably going to ask you why.
I mean, I don't know about America, but in England, you're not allowed hoods up in shops. So
Nope.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
probably not to the extent of hoods in most places, but a full-on mask, yeah, people would probably be asking you what you're doing if it's not Halloween.
Yeah, you're not allowed
Pretty
hoods
sure
or
it
hats
is
in the UK,
illegal.
man.
To have a full mask that covers everything, I'm pretty sure it's illegal.
So that's the kind of situation that, you know, we're really just trying to avoid people basically
But
exploiting
bike
the
helmets
situation.
aren't.
I'll take this guy in the bear mask behind, and then I'll take the lady. Yeah.
Bike helmets that are tinted aren't illegal. So why am I being, you know, searched or something for wearing a bike helmet with a tinted face? Or like a
Well, you
tinted
will be stopped if you
visor?
walk to a store with the bike helmet on. They actually will ask you to take off the mask. Like if you walk in
Yeah.
the Walmart with the bike helmet on, they're gonna ask you to take it off.
Right, but if I'm not
Yeah,
walking
that's
into a
fucked
store or anything and I'm just like walking down the street or something, like this has happened, you know, in the parking lot or something. If I'm in the parking lot at apartments wearing a bike helmet, why am I being questioned? I mean,
If
I
your
could
bike's within
obviously
10
just be
foot, then-
going walking to get my bike.
Well, if your bike's within 10 foot, then that's fair enough. Yeah, you can obviously say, look, if they go, why's your bike helmet on? Just go, look, I'm getting, well, my bike's there. I just got off my bike, or I'm getting on my bike. That's a different story. If you're walking through the middle of the city centre trying to go into shops and banks wearing your bike helmet in a car, why the hell are you wearing a bike helmet?
What if we're going into our own apartment?
I mean, there is a version of this where maybe you can discount apartments specifically from this, or certain locations can be excluded from that.
I mean,
I'm
you can
not
be in a
saying
green
it's out of
zone.
the question. Because we're still trying to work this as we go here, but this is an attempt to address a specific problem that we've run into, and that is just people trying to avoid ever being detected in a way that's not really realistic.
You can stand in a green zone wearing a mask because you're not going to do anything criminal or violent.
Right, I think it's just
So they
exactly.
shouldn't have any
then,
suspicion on you.
Yeah,
and
so
that's what
then
I mean.
why
it
have I
creates
been
reasonable suspicion that you may be
searched and
about
stuff?
to commit crime.
I mean, because I've been like, you know, arrested while sitting at apartments. Like, you know, there was a car there and they said it was involved in a crime. And now everybody that's wearing a face mask at the apartments that is sitting there talking is all of a sudden being searched because there was a car that was involved in an incident that's right there in the parking lot.
Weren't
I-
you the
I don't know
gentleman
what I
who
can say
who was driving
to-
that car and then we pulled you out of it
Yes.
today?
Yes, and he said that
Yes,
his,
it was because we saw on because we
But
got
that-
the plate number
Not the
and you were
one
sitting
today.
inside the car.
Not the one today.
Oh,
This was
okay, well.
several days ago.
Well, that's something else that I'm gonna bring up with my officers, and they need to be more clear on the rules as well, because that was never set in stone. But now that it's gonna be a thing, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows exactly how that's gonna
It's
run.
been quite annoying going to apartments and then coming out of the apartment and all of a sudden there's cops there because the car's there. And
Well,
they
I mean,
boxed in the car, not giving any opportunity for any RP to come out from it.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but if we see the car that's been, used in the crime, we're gonna make sure that it can't leave and investigate it.
I mean, now the car park's not a green zone. If you're leaving a stolen car there, the police can't come and see it.
Right, but then like the issue that I have is just like we're chilling like in the green zone and then the car's outside of the green zone.
Don't drop your stolen car off at the apartments. You shouldn't run back to apartments anyway. You should go drop the car off somewhere else. Like in a real crime, you would go drop the car off next to it, like burn it or put it in a lake or something or whatever, and just destroy the car, get rid of it. You need to get rid of the evidence in the crime you've done.
Yeah, we'll talk
So,
about that because I'm
leaving
even
that back
pushed to
right
talk,
next to
so
your
I'm
apartment,
screaming.
Like,
We
leaving
can't.
that within 5 foot of you, standing like 5 foot away from a stolen vehicle. That's suspicious anyway.
Could we be able to put the vehicles like in a parking lot at the apartment itself, since it technically is a parking lot?
Yes, sort of. We're working on something
That
like
is
that. I
something
mean,
we're working
we
on, yeah.
can stick a garage there. We could do that. I mean, it
That
seems
would
like
be
not the
nice.
best
We're
answer to
working
the
on something a bit
problem,
better
but
though. For,
yeah, that's
Well, it's just there's a lot of cars that get left there now, and people were like before didn't like that their cars were being stolen and stuff from the
well, I mean,
apartments. Because
yeah.
I
no,
mean,
you
a
can
lot
shoot
of
back, bro.
people
You see
are
someone stealing
going
your car,
there.
shoot them.
It happens a lot of the times when people are inside of the apartment and it's just stolen when they come back out.
Well, I don't know. My car doesn't get stolen that often. I don't know what to say.
I think the bear has a.
One of your cars is
Oh
still
yeah.
down.
What's going on?
Yeah, bear.
Yeah, bear.
Oh man, okay. So with the mask, would we be able to get it like surgically like stitched onto us?
Crap,
So we
sorry.
wouldn't
I'm
get
already
off?
bleeding out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we will have to kind of figure out something for
Just
that.
gonna
I
say.
honestly don't know. It's not a part of it that I thought about all that much at the time. I mean, there was a specific problem we were trying to address, and that was the solution that I've seen in other states that I've played on myself, which, it made sense because you wouldn't be wearing a mask on your way to go do a bank job because you might get pulled over before you even get. So I think it's just really trying to avoid people taking advantage of the masks to just have an unfair advantage when they're doing activity, and that's really the point. I mean, I feel like there does need to be some risk involved with not identifying yourself. If somebody is going to make that is their character's RP, that they are literally always wearing a mask all the time and it's always the same mask, I'm not against that, but I think it will need to be on a character by character basis. So I'm not against it, but I mean, I can't say that every cop is going to know that all the time because
Just need to make it known,
yeah, I mean, that I think is kind of the thing. We would have to make that a known thing. So I'm not inherently against.
You just gotta make it known as well. If a cop arrests you, you gotta be like,
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, we could definitely discuss that more further. But I am
something
not.
like that,
I am not against. Yeah, right. Definitely a way to RP that as well. All right. So who else we got questions? Yes, you've been waiting a while.
Me or behind me?
Oh, okay. Well, both of you. I didn't see your hands were too.
either.
Well, mine's really not even a question. It's kind of just like addressed about the mask thing. Like, guys, the reason that the mask thing is such like an issue is because people will just throw a mask on when they have a warrant and ride passenger or do something in the mask full time. Like, and that's just takes the RP out of it constantly.
I agree. That's the problem, is that if you were doing that all the time, there's literally zero way for you to be caught whatsoever, and in a way that is itself an exploit. So that's really the thing that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw a little bit out there.
That is exactly the issue that I have with people wearing a mask all the time as a way to really never ever have to be questioned or searched or identified. So we could tweak the level that it could go to. Maybe it is just a matter of questioning. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I did not know how much resistance we might get
with
to that.
questioning anyway. Like if they should only go into searching if they have something
Yeah.
on the question.
Well, the thing
If
is,
you're giving them nothing, then yeah, search them. If you're having a conversation.
I'm vaping, dude. It's
yeah, the thing is, like with the mask thing, it's like when you're riding passenger in the car and we're like, we have warrants out for you, and like we have a reasonable suspicion, but you want to use the explanation of I didn't do anything. Your issues with the driver, but like you have a mask on, so we can't even see who you are. So that's fucked.
I think it is completely reasonable that in that situation, a police officer would ask for each person in the vehicle to identify themselves. I know because I've been in that situation. So for sure, that is what would happen. So I think maybe we can debate the level of should it extend to searching if there's no other crimes committed. But at the very least, they can ask you to identify yourself. And if you choose not to, they can choose to take more extensive action after that.
It's not like we can't change this rule down the line if we see it's not working. You know what
So,
I mean? It's just
yeah,
like
and I think
everything
that's
we put
probably
in
a
right
good
now,
place
think of it
to
like
leave
a beta,
that.
What if you're
this
the
obviously has
wrong
been
place
waiting a
at the
while.
wrong time?
So something
by
was said
that?
about masks in government buildings. if pillbox is a green zone, are we still allowed to ask them to identify it, or
I would
paint
say
them
we
to
leave
identify?
pillbox out of that because honestly, it's a private hospital more so than it's a government building, even though it is a green zone. I think that's going to make things too messy because we're not trying to start too many cop grim interactions in pillbox. If one goes there because somebody needs to get picked up and they make an attempt to escape, okay, but we really don't want people to be starting too many interactions in there that way. It should be a place you go and get healed and go back to whatever you were doing.
To touch on that,
will be revised very soon, though. Based on something we're working on.
To touch on that, like police and crim interaction in the hospital, like yesterday or 2 days ago, we had the incident of like a criminal was down and they rammed the officers. So and we could see that he was down. So his buddy had to take him to pillbox. So we put officers up there to be like posted up there to wait for him. Is that allowed? Like what's the justification on that?
I mean, you 100% measure to ensure don't escape, and they can do whatever they have to do to escape. That is fine. What I don't want is people going to pillbox to go kidnap somebody to make them a hostage. I don't want people going to pillbox to do a gang-related hit. I don't want people getting robbed in or around pillbox. Those are the things we're trying to avoid. But when it comes to a scene that started elsewhere that took its place to pillbox because somebody was injured, that can continue from there. It's more about initiating new violent or aggressive scenes in pillbox.
Gotcha.
And that means
Appreciate
cops, totally free to post extra cops up there to make sure that they don't run, and they are still free to try to run. Both of those are valid.
This guy's been waiting a while.
I might have to
question,
come back
bro?
there because I can't.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
I can't hear him either.
Yo.
I don't think he's talking.
Not speaking. Yo. The guy with the golden gun pointing at you is talking. You can speak, bro.
Oh, me. Sorry, daydreaming.
Yeah.
What about giving a fake name with the masks?
I mean, feel free to do it, but if they ask you to provide ID and you don't, whatever happens next, like those are in RP things. You know what I mean? In the context of RP, if they ask you to identify yourself, RP it. Feel free to give them a fake name. You could see if you can wiggle out of showing ID, and maybe they don't ask, and maybe they don't care. Maybe they ask you to show ID. Maybe you don't have ID. Maybe they ask to search you because you don't have ID. I mean, that can really go a lot of ways. It's definitely down to how you want to respond to it and how the officer wants to respond to it. That's why this is less about it being a rule and more just about making everybody aware of the fact that it opens you up to a potential questioning that they wouldn't necessarily ask you if you were just standing on the street showing your full face.
Yeah. All right, cool.
That's the primary intent. I mean, this is more about the spirit of the rule than the actual letter of the rule. It's about people not taking advantage of wearing masks as a way to completely evade detection forever in a completely unrealistic manner. That is what we're trying to fight against.
Cops waiting for you to land at plane runs, coke runs.
Well, we were informed that that's what they were doing. That's why cops were sitting there.
I'm not the one asking, by the way. I'm just passing that question on.
Is it true that you can get deported if you don't have an ID on you?
No.
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 Not at all.
Yellow?
To jail, but that's about it.
But
well, you can't even be jailed for no ID. I mean, if you're driving a vehicle, okay, but you cannot just be jailed for no ID.
Well, here's what the problem is, guys, right now, is that when you guys don't have an ID and you guys give us these fake names, we actually have no way to identify who you are. So, because the fingerprint system doesn't work correctly, so we can't figure out who you are.
No,
so that's why we tell you need to identify who you are. Once we get you in the
Okay,
cells,
well,
you
when
need to
you
give us your
were
real name.
arrested, yes. When you were arrested. Prior to that, different story.
Yeah, when people are getting arrested, they're trying to give us fake names. And that's the problem, is that we have no absolute way to figure out who you are.
I mean,
No
when
way.
we were jailing someone earlier, I think someone said like share contact, and then you can see who it was. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but that's just weird. That's just
that
doesn't make
is
sense.
also a little weird. That's probably not the best way. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
that
guys,
was
we're getting a little bogged down here in individual scenarios, which is really not the point here. This is about the broad strokes. If you have a problem with an individual situation, open a ticket, let us handle that particular situation, and we will adjust things as needed to go from there. But when we get there's always going to be a kind of specific exception that breaks the rule here, and that's not going to get across the gist of what we're going. We're trying to maximize what works best for the most number of people. And obviously, if something needs to change, we'll change that. But I guess
Like
we
the
still have a
100
few
people who just
questions.
have
We could work through that, and then I mean, we still got a few other things to.
Will there be like new jobs for non-criminals and legal ways to make money?
Probably. I will have to take
Yeah,
another
we
look.
are
I
looking
think
into
there
stuff.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, we are looking into stuff. Yes. Next, Bear.
All right. How come my boy Trevi got deported?
Okay, that's an
That's not a
individual
discussion
issue.
for
Literally
right
has
now,
nothing
so
to do
we
with
can
this.
hold that
That's
off
the
for
kind of
something
thing I'm
different.
talking about.
That's not we
10K.
don't that's not a question to be asked
My
right here.
my question is just pertaining to like the fights in jail constantly. Like, and we go up there, like warn them. Like, is there something that's going to be implemented about that or not? Like just constant fights in jail that just like are just designed because people are pissed off they're in there and they just want the cops to be distracted and come up there.
If you just want
I
to beat
mean,
the hell
that's
out of each
stupid,
other in
and I
jail,
hope
then
they
you
would
can...
be recharged and receive longer sentences for doing that. But
I was
at the
just
end of the
about to
day,
say-
this is also because we don't have prison guards yet, and we very much intend to have prison guards, so
Yeah.
that's going to be a lot harder.
Let me
So,
just say,
yeah.
if you think you can beat the hell out of each other to get the cops to come waste your time in jail, I'm gonna say they have every right to just leave you there to send your sentence out, and then you can do a slash report or slash whatever to get the cops to come get you when your sentencing's done. If it's not done, they can double your time because you're just
Appreciate it.
being a complete and utter dick.
Well,
The cops
yeah.
have got other things to do, and you're ruining other people's RP, including the
I
criminals
think, yeah,
beside
like
you.
that's part of what, try to remember, and this goes into something else I wanted to bring. Please do not kill, rob, hostage, whatever, the only cop that's on, and don't fuck with EMS like that ever, unless we get really specifically okay with that. EMS is trying to make it so everybody can keep playing and not be dead all the time. Kidnapping, hostage taking, any kind of bullshit like killing EMS, it really serves absolutely no purpose. There's like 30 other people you can go take, so like don't take the one person that's trying to help everybody. And if there's only one cop online, if you kill or take a person hostage, you are like completely ruining the ability. There's nobody who can even catch you, so it's pointless. It's just stupid. So don't do that.
Especially if it's
I
in the
did
prison.
think
Selling
about like
drugs on the beach with no cops is boring, guys. Like,
I mean, okay, then there's that. But yeah.
I did think about the possibility of like cadets and stuff because another city that I've seen, their cadets have to serve an hour of like working time at the pillbox to meet the citizens and stuff. But like, what if for the time being, while we don't have prison guards, the cadets serve their time, work a little bit of time
I mean,
up
I
there?
honestly would not be
with
against that. My for that to be taken over by BCSO since it is the county jail, but we don't have a lot of them yet. So I agree that is honestly not a bad idea.
what if that's how BCSO do the
Or
application
yes, as a
process, you know?
BCSO
You have to go
introductory thing
into
when you
DOJ
transfer
first,
over. Yeah.
and then BCSO decide if they want you.
These
from
are
there.
definitely not bad ideas. I'm open to that because it would be nice to have some actual people to RP with when you're in the prison. Why is this guy dead? They probably
Because
started
it gets boring.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It is. Like, I mean, besides doing the electrician job, there really is not a ton to do.
This Vargo's been waiting.
Now, let me just also say, there are going to be some ways for you guys to break out of prison that are a little more functional than this current way that requires multiple people. I'm not going to give you all the details, but more or less, you'll want to look around. You may find items that help you to get out, or by doing certain activities, you may find things that help you to get out. I'm not going to piece it all together for you, but there will be potential ways to escape. So
the prison's continually being worked on, so it's
yeah,
not like one
exactly.
big thing all
So
in
it's
one.
not
There will
going to
be
stay
some
just
ways.
spoons.
It'd be nice to have ways you can climb over fences to get out, like real life. You can climb over, depending on if it's guarded or not. You can climb over fences.
Yeah, there definitely will be some ways.
That fence is giant.
There'll be
And a
ways
prison
out
would
of
always
it.
be
Just don't worry about
guarded,
that.
realistically.
Okay, the Vagos, you have a question?
To follow on from what you said about the prisons, I was like, if they're making cops waste of time, go up there, and you said about doubling the sentence. Obviously, let's say they've got the full 120 months. How
I'm talking about
is
doubling
that
the rest
going
of
to be?
their sentence. So if you've got 39 months left when they come get you, so let's say you've gone, let's say me and you fight now in jail, right?
Yeah.
And you go down, right? And you had 100 months to begin with, and you sit there for 40 months on the ground, like this guy is, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you're like, right, fuck this, right? I'm bored. I'm gonna ring the cops, tell them my jail sentence is done, go to EMS, right? And then they come in and find out that you've got, let's say, 60 months left or whatever. They're just gonna put that back to 120.
Right. Okay. So you'll just put it back to say double that sentence.
Double what's
that's
left. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
As long as
because
it
you're
doesn't
just
go over,
wasting
say,
their
the
time,
120.
yep, you're wasting criminals' time at the end of the day. You're not just wasting cops' time, you're wasting criminals' time. They've got things to do like rob banks, rob people, do drugs, blah, 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 blah. Plus other activities we're adding in, and you're ruining it for them because the cops have no way of responding to this stuff, which leads to no RP. What is the point in going and doing a bank with one cop turning up? Do you know how many times I've done Polito and no cops have turned up? Do you know how boring that is?
Oh yeah, we've done it a couple of times.
When it's first attempt thermite in and first hack for in, that takes what 30 seconds, and then no cops turn up. You're
Yeah.
outside shooting in the air waiting for a cop, and nothing happens because someone down the road's killed them all in a shop for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ruined my time too, not just the cops.
Oh yeah. As well, just one other thing. We've had it now where there's been, like, say, one cop on the duty, and they've been kidnapped and robbed. Can something be put in the rules that's gonna stop that happening?
Oh,
Just
that
wait
is
until at
quite
least a
literally
couple of
going to be
cops?
against the
It is
rules.
in the
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
good.
is.
Good.
Will there be new drugs without revealing anything?
That's our question.
In a way.
Can we implement some better drugs?
Yeah, I mean,
please?
there are going to be more drugs.
I want to do black tar
exactly
heroin.
Not enough
immediately,
heroin
but
in
there
here.
are definitely going to be
Drugs are being
quite a
worked
long
on.
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, for once I'm being a good citizen.
It's like,
we
I
are
want some
going to
good
be
heroin,
shifting.
goddammit.
Okay, now, you guys are gonna have to be back on the hunt for that one because everyone knows what everything is. So we're gonna get
But
that
now
all
no one will
shifted
know where
back.
anything is.
Oh,
Yeah, you'll be
great.
starting fresh on
yeah.
that.
I just found out.
Oh.
All right, so we still have questions here, or can I move on?
Monkey Mask
I
right
have
here.
one
What do you?
question.
What's
I
up?
see hands going.
Okay, so I was gonna say, I was hearing that there's gonna be a rule implemented for your import saying like 3 strikes of getting it impounded and it was gonna get crushed. Is that true?
That was never
don't know.
discussed.
No,
Yeah,
literally
that's
not a
not
thing.
I was
true.
hearing that and I was like, that kind of sounds.
People like to start
Absolutely
wild
not a
rumors,
thing.
don't know where they get these
Not a
ideas
That's
from.
fucked.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah,
you
I was
hear
gonna
it
say
from
that's
our
all
mouths,
fine.
it's not true. All right.
Yeah.
That means me, Trey, or John, basically.
Yeah, if you don't hear from us three, then it's not. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make somebody spend $35, have them spend
Just
35 and get the
fucking
car
throw it out,
crashed.
yeah.
I
like
was
that's
gonna
not
say,
cool.
I was gonna say I was probably gonna shoot up the entire.
And I know they saw that on No Pixel, so I'm pretty sure somebody got that rumor. But no, that's not gonna be a thing. It's just totally different.
If you get banned, we might crush your cars.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Please
In
do.
public,
This-
you know, so everyone can watch like a No Pixel.
Oh my god.
Please do. The damn impound is full of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So,
Is that all the
Ready,
questions?
Redhead. What's your question?
Give me 1 moment. I had that question. And now I lost it. But I was gonna ask for the clothing. Will there be new clothing and stuff?
yeah, there is.
Yeah,
we've
a
got
lot, a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Serena been like holding her hand since the beginning.
Oh, Serena, go ahead.
One question: is this rule about one cop on, don't hostage take, don't kill, don't all that crap? Are they going to know how many officers are on? Have you got a system for that?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the scoreboard, then maybe we do there. But if you're looking at the score, one cop is going
Actually,
to be
we
that
do.
you literally can't do any crime.
Slug, you're forgetting something, mate.
Oh, the phone, right?
So
right,
if you go on
right,
your
right.
phone in the new
Yeah.
city, you can click on
There's an app,
application
yeah.
that basically says services, and in there, if you scroll down, it'll say police, and every police officer on duty will have their name, and you can
Right.
click their phone, and
Just
you
like
can
the
call them.
lawyers, basically.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. But yeah. Are we ready to move on?
Yep,
Everybody-
I think so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we are. All right, so that was basically everything about green zones. Cop baiting, don't do it. Stop doing it. And for the love of God, if I hear you are actually trying to get new players to bait cops for you, I am going to be very unhappy. I mean, I don't even understand why anyone would think that's a good idea. Obviously, you're not allowed to cop bait, but yeah, you're also not allowed to take a new player and then tell them to do something stupid so the cops show up and then you can fucking rob the cops or do whatever it is you want to do. Don't cop bait. Don't encourage other people to cop bait. That's as bad as cop baiting yourself. So don't do that.
Also,
yeah.
Don't just do donuts around PD. That's cop baiting, guys. Like, we're not gonna chase you. I've instructed all officers. If you're just doing circles around PD, we're not gonna just come and chase you. That's not realistic, and it's not worth the time. All right. There's other ways to go about getting yourself in a chase. That's just not it. Doing burnouts and around MRPD.
I would like to announce as well, cops can look at Twitter. Don't know where this rumor started. Twitter
Yeah,
is a public
yeah, that's
friggin'
not
website.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if any of you, have Twitter, you'll understand that it's public. Police are on Twitter.
And I am looking into putting some sort of more of a VPN type thing in the future so that you'll be able to have some sort of semi-public but still private from the police communications for legal transactions or other things like that. So that is definitely a thing that we're looking at as well. But yeah, Twitter can very much be viewed by the cops.
And on
I don't know if there's.
I just got some things to add.
Yep, go for it. Yeah, if you want to throw your stuff in there, feel free. Black market definitely on the list as well.
So guys, I know cops, crims, it's not always a very good interaction between the two, when you go to jail and all that. I understand, people are going to complain and stuff, you're going to complain, you're going to be angry about it, but there's also a level to it. You know what I mean? Like you might be ruining somebody's day by just just going off the wall absolutely crazy. Like there's a limit, and I think when you cross that line of when you're just being a little bit too much.
And what I want to explain that as there's a difference, and this is in the rules as well, between in character and out of character. And when you're taking it to the point of out of character threats or out of character insults, that is way too far. Don't do that. Keep it in character. Obviously, it's reasonable to be upset you're getting arrested and be like, oh, fucking pigs, whatever. When you're going, fuck you, you're such a fucking piece of shit, I hate you, you're the worst, you're such a bad blah blah blah, you can't RP, you're like, no, don't do that. I mean, that is clearly going out of character at that point. And just
OC
stuff in general.
Huge RP, like situation, like losing still an RP situation. You could learn something from it, or you could actually, have a great time losing.
And maybe character development. It's not about literally winning every little thing you do. Think about the fact of your character. I mean, it is role play at the end of the day.
Sometimes take a loss on purpose,
I mean, there are literally people who role play being in jail 24/7. Think about that. Like 24/7.
Purposely took losses. I'm not going to stand here and tell you guys to if I haven't done it myself. I've done it over the last few months. I've purposely took losses where I spin out for no reason in the middle of a road. I'm sure Troy can tell you, when, like apart from when Ron was driving that time, where I'll do a little crash where my car could still keep going, but like it doesn't look like it should. So I'm like, oh, and I'll get out the car injured and jog down the road a bit,
So it's just something to keep in win mentality, not try to focus on the actual. Sorry, could you have?
I was just asking
Hello?
if what about identifying by voice?
No identifying by voice, because that would just be too unfair. There's not enough of us to do that in any way that would be fair. Clothing is totally fair game. Clothing is totally fair game.
Tattoos, fair game.
Yeah, tattoos, anything identifying about your appearance, totally
People
fair.
you hang out with, if they know that, your associates,
Just voice is the only thing that is specifically off limit.
Yeah, you can't do it by voice because of cousins.
Like if I'm looking for Andrew.
Yeah, that too, and also cousins. That's true.
If I'm looking for Andrew and there's a guy walking around in a mask with Chip all day, I might go, who's this guy walking around in a mask with Chip all day? Is that Andrew? Take your mask off. You know what I mean? It's like he's a known associate.
And speaking on that as well, guys, there's a multiple you guys that have multiple different, characters, but you play them the same. It's hard for us to not accidentally call you by somebody else when you literally are doing the same shit on a different character. You know what I mean? We're not doing it on purpose. I mean, especially from being a cop, like sometimes we might say, because you're doing the same shit. So like,
you don't need
we're
to
not doing it
rage
on
out
purpose.
about it. You can just correct them and move on. Like within character, you could be like angry about it, but just there are people who again take that personally. How do you expect them to know if it literally is like you're doing the same?
Well, if they call you by the wrong name, just say, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, see, just be nice about it. Don't freak out because we sometimes we don't know. We don't know because you're doing the same things, Like if you're gonna make another character, you should be different.
Crikey.
Yep,
like
there
that.
you go.
If Trey made a cousin who looked exactly the same as him, just with a different haircut, I might mistake him.
Who the fuck was that? Well, Trey Norris and Trey Davis have the same fucking look.
That's a little confusing.
Yo, to those weirdos that call me all friend Trey, like suck my toes.
Oh my god.
Okay. So what's next?
I also can we also get into questions with Crims and PD? So if any Crims have any questions for us, PD, I'm more than willing to answer them. I'm not going to get angry or anything. I'll answer them to my best ability. And maybe we can work something out here between PD and Crims to make this a better experience for all of us. Because right now it's not enjoyable for us.
I mean,
and
it's
not
less
enjoyable
toxic
for you
than
guys.
it was, which is good.
Yeah,
but we're
it's
heading
just
in the right direction. We're open to suggestions.
We just have people on one side not enjoying themselves, and have people on my side that they're quitting. They just don't want to do it anymore.
Well, that's what happens.
So,
everyone ends up mad and thinks the other side has it great, and that's never the case. So I want to find that middle ground.
So I'll start addressing questions right here, Monkey Mask. Hello.
Oh,
Shit,
Uh,
my
it's
was
so
stuck.
dramatic.
So you know how that police helicopter with the infrared can like, track your heat under the
Yeah.
concrete and like in the sewers? Is there a way that could be like worked on so you can't do that? Because I feel like it wouldn't actually be able to track you.
Does it
under the
actually
sewers
go
all the
that
time.
far? Does it go through
Yeah,
all
it
that? I have
does.
not
I've
tested
I've
that
personally
We will
tracked someone
test that.
through the sewers and out
Okay.
onto the canal.
We
They
will
will be able to
fix
get
that.
you in a building.
But some
Yeah,
of
in
them,
the building
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see,
yeah.
but like I can get people underground in the sewers. in
yeah,
the
but some of the
helicopter.
sewers like have that grate, like that metal grate.
We can see what we can do about it.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not ideal. Maybe we can come
100%.
up with a way or a
That's,
special
train
clothing
lines
or
with the metal
outfit
grate
that
as
protects
well,
you
also.
from that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's kind of a not a common occurrence per se. But yeah, it's fair. I mean, ultimately, I am trying to find the balance between realism and fun here. Like I want it to not be insane, but at the same time, like the more we can edge towards realism, the better. So I'm always for it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with Mr. Urek there, Purple Mask.
All right. So, since criminals have a rule of 4, I think it's a little unfair that cops can just like be brought back to pillbox and then join the fight right after.
Yeah,
Like,
so actually I love that you brought that up because this is what we're going to do about this. I've already talked to some officers, but I'm going to implement this. If you are killed in this scenario, you cannot come back to that scenario because that doesn't make sense. I totally agree with you guys on that. So don't
If you
think
get
I'm not
shot
against
5
you guys.
times, you're not gonna.
Yeah. So they just even
Yep.
even on the radio, even if they're full killed, they don't remember. You still know, so they will just be at the station or they'll be responding to another call. They will not be allowed back in that situation.
I like that.
So
I think that's
so
good.
yeah. So that's gonna be a thing. I'll make sure all my officers know, and if it does happen in the future, just put in a ticket. I'll handle it. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Right here,
that's good.
Vagos.
There you go. Solutions. This is what I like. This is what we're going for.
Yeah. Right, one thing that I know a couple of people have said to me about is when say like there's a bank robbery going on, when we're sat there and say like a normal PDM car, there's like fucking 3-4 GTRs showing up and Mustangs and everything.
Yeah, we're gonna
makes
work
it
on the balance
completely
there
fail.
too. Yeah.
So that's just with the balancing of cars because we don't know what we're showing up to, and for us to go all the way back to a police station is hard.
Well, and
But
so yeah.
But on the scrams, I've been taking tallies of bank robberies, and we only catch people 40% of the time. So just let that ring around in your guys' head. I've done the tally. I keep track. You guys get away probably 40% of the time because even if we're in a fast car, we can still 50 the shit out of ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And speaking on that, we might up the pit timer a little bit, but we feel like 2 minutes has been pretty good so far. People are still able to get away.
I aren't too fussed with the pit time. The pit timer, I think, is
when
a
the cars
decent amount of
will be
time.
getting revamped, so that will be fixed. They'll be doing their actual speed, so it won't matter if we have interceptors and you know what I mean. It'll just be on the car that you choose to run away.
Yeah, and the police cars are also going to be rank specific, so I mean there will be a much better enforcement of police officers taking the proper car.
Okay.
Like if you've got 4 bikes parked up outside the bank, the police are not going to allow that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want the guy in the white sweatshirt. He had his hands up for a while.
What about like two-door cars?
What do you mean?
Since currently, since 4 doors kind of don't really keep up with cop cars being able to go 200 miles per hour and over. 4-door cars never reach that. What about having two-door cars as getaways for 4 people?
I mean, you guys, there's nothing in the rules saying that you can't take 2 separate cars. There's nothing that says you can't. You guys can have 2 separate vehicles. It happens all the time, actually. So that's perfectly fine. Just know that we're gonna chase one of those 2 cars, or if not both.
Also, you'll be able to swap out vehicles and leave vehicles soon. Do you know what I mean? So.
Okay, and then I have another question about the RP interaction that's been happening with questioning and stuff. It's not really. I don't feel like it's kind of okay for RP for somebody to just walk up that's a police officer and just cuff you like this.
Definitely
and then
not.
question you
Cuffing
afterwards.
people, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not.
That's been
yeah,
a real
yeah.
annoyance for
please, buddy cam, everybody, please, buddy cam, open a ticket, send us this stuff, and we will address with you. It's just that's the kind of stuff that I can't even believe is happening because it makes no sense. Why would somebody do that? But nobody tells me about it. I can't do anything about it. So please, please.
What if you can't run body cam?
I mean, there's a lot of like really simple clipping services that I don't think have too much overhead. I'm not talking record everything 24/7. Metal, what is it? Metal TV, Moments GG, all these different things that I mean, NVIDIA Shadow Play, like the just built in. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying
currently
it helps
work
substantially.
half
Mine
of the
works
city is
fine,
running
but
it,
yeah.
then most of the time we can catch what the hell's going on, you know?
That's all
So,
I'm
might
saying
need
is like
to
it
update
just
your
it
drivers.
helps. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it helps to see who's doing what and how we can address those specific situations.
I'm surrounded.
So back to your thing about the cuffing. Yes, that'll be talked about. You know, we'll ask you to put your hands up. We should be asking you to put your hands up. Obviously, that's not happening. So I'll get that figured out. I'll talk to my officers and we'll get it all figured out. But also, as well, on the same note, if we tase you, you shouldn't be just getting back up and running again. Because I don't know if you guys have ever been tased. You're not getting back up and just running again.
Have you been tased?
Yes, I've been tased.
Yeah, you
like
can't get
you're
straight back
tased
up after
for
tasers.
quite a while.
Well,
sometimes,
but you know
yeah,
what I mean. And what I'm
what
trying to
you're-
say is that you're not going to be getting up and just running again. That's not how it works.
Hey,
I
man, you got
promise
some weak ass tasers. That's all I say.
But it's not like Hollywood, is it? Where you're shaking on the floor for like 2 minutes. Like,
Get stronger tasers.
You're in pain.
Unless you're on bath salts.
In my experience, it's hard enough to get away when I get tased. I
Depends what
literally
taser
get
it
caught
is.
by
Yeah,
there's
cops
no
every
way
single
to-
goddamn time. I get tased,
There's
so
no
I
way
will
to
say.
get out of cuffs, so I'm just gonna say.
I'm very good at getting away from being tased.
Yeah, and we are working on some stuff for how you may be able to fight being cuffed or something like that. Just some
I
kind
would
of way
prefer
to.
if like foot chases actually happened instead of being.
I've been in plenty of foot chases, but I get caught every
I
single.
have never once been in a foot chase where I haven't been tased immediately.
I mean, I just get enough distance. Also, take some drugs because they make you run faster.
Yeah, man.
No, but I'm saying like as soon as I'm getting out of a car, I get.
Well, that's the thing. I've gotten in foot chases where, yeah, I either had distance or I was never in a car to begin with. So, yeah.
It just depends on the type of crime that you committed as well. If we're gonna tase you immediately or not.
Yeah, I mean, we can come
if
up with
somebody's
some sort of
asking me
tase
for
policy.
questioning and I
That's
run
not out
away
of the
not to
question.
get questioned, and then I get tased as soon as I run away, that's just
No, I mean that's fair. Maybe tasers can be limited to violent scenarios. Specifically, I don't know. We can.
Yeah, I was like, can we
something
get like a tackling or something, Or
There is tackling.
No, I mean like because cops aren't tackling; they're just
Red,
tasing.
Red, is this you talking?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, I told you I'm gonna handle that. I'm gonna bring that up. We're gonna have a meeting after this.
How come cops feel
I mean, because I told you that's something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I gotta. I know.
I don't want to cut anybody off, but I got a lot more questions to address. Bear mask.
So when in a police chase, like most of them go over like 110, you'd say, right?
Yeah.
So say a cop is behind you and they like tase the tire. I'm confused how they're still able to control the car while holding one hand with a gun or a taser and still be able to hit the tire. Because I mean, at that speed, it would be pretty
Advanced
hard to
driving.
control and actually hit it. You know what I'm saying?
But that could also be the same
is a
thing for
challenge,
somebody
though.
shooting a gun out their window
mean, that's
at the same time.
It's putting people's lives in danger.
But at this point, cops are not firing in car chases unless fired upon, right? That's where
No, we don't shoot unless we get shot at. Unless they pull out a weapon, like we have made known. If you pull out a weapon, you're gonna get shot. That's just
We
how
need
that's
fired
gonna be.
officers.
2 points I can make to help this. One, the stagger is being increased when you aim down your sight, and two, in the next
weapon
update, there's a
sway.
lot more traffic everywhere. So going
That
130 or whatever you just said, you're gonna crash whatever. So
Yes.
Thank
fuck
God.
that.
More vehicles.
Fuck yes.
Yes.
Because we're seeing chases should be going 200, 250 miles an
No,
hour.
yeah,
That's
that's a little
too
insane.
And speaking on top of those chases is if you guys and ladies, if you smack the brakes, we are not able to stop
Yeah,
like you
that
are.
for
So you're
real.
gonna get fucked up. I'm just letting you
I've
know
been
this now.
smacked
Like
in
we
the back
purposely,
by a
we're not
GTR
trying to.
so many times.
Yeah,
They
we're not
attempt
trying to do
lower
that
the
to you
speed of
guys.
the cars. Then.
That's
Like, let's
the plan.
just not assume people are always acting in bad faith. You know what I mean? Like, if you get hit by somebody, it's not on purpose. They're not trying to fuck you over. Like, I think a lot of people are really quick to assume that somebody is trying to take advantage of them in some way, or that somebody is trying to just catch them and end it and ruin it. And it's like, I just that should probably not be your first thought. We can't
'Cause it
forget
really
that
sucks.
5M
It really
is still
sucks.
5M. There is still some amount of desync. People have different pings. There are a lot of variables that can go in this, and just because a
cop
cop
cars
clips your
break
car in a
suck.
chase for the pit timer doesn't mean that that's what they were trying to do. And if you think they really were trying to do it and they're breaking a rule, please report that. Like that's
Yeah,
Don't stop your scene. Just
Yeah,
take
what
the
if
scene
the
all the way
car
to the
gets
end and
completely
open a
disabled
ticket.
from that?
I mean,
don't
then
feel
we'll,
like
then
it's,
we'll work it out.
too-
So here's, I
Yeah,
just want
we
to,
will work-
I will work
and-
it out with you guys. I
Yeah.
always let you guys get back in your vehicle if I did not mean to hit you or
when
if I
people
see that
absolutely
desync
bug the
hit
fuck
you.
out, that's when we're not going to work it out. When people start flipping out and lobbing personal insults, that's when it's not getting worked out. So
And
it
that happens
always
very
is.
frequently.
It does.
Police
I-
cars
I've
break
seen it
suck.
enough. Yeah, and the cop car breaks
And
do
we know,
suck.
we know,
That
we,
is
we,
very
we know, and that's going to be worked on. But I'm just
Yeah,
telling you guys,
they
it
do
ruins the
suck.
scene, not just for you, but also for me, because I didn't mean to do that. But when you just go off on me, like absolutely go bonkers, it's just like, what do I do? I didn't mean to do it, and I try and explain myself, and you guys just freak out. And I know that if it's happening to me, it's definitely happening to the other officers.
Yeah.
So just think that we're not trying to do that half the time. It's on accident, if not more than half. So I'm just
But you
gonna
can
let
have
that one sit.
a little bit of an RP argument. You know, I can probably tell you most of these officers in the room would probably have an argument with me in an RP situation.
I
I'm not
have.
laughing. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
actually angry. The difference is what Trey's
Right.
trying to say is some of you can just not
Yeah,
pointing
there,
fingers or anyone, but
and
people
it's not
have
even
exploded
necessarily
in the
anyone
past.
here, but I've
No, I'm
just
not saying
seen
anyone
clips
here,
of
but you know
people
what
absolutely blowing up over things they definitely shouldn't have. So that's just something to keep.
If a scene was wronged, we will always
Yeah,
write
like
it.
that's what
I
I mean.
promise
We will
you.
rectify it with the money you lost, the items you lost,
Or
whatever.
start
We
the
will
chase over
figure
again.
it
We'll
out.
start
Yeah.
the chase over again.
Right. That's what I mean. There is nothing that cannot be fixed. Everything can be fixed, but only if we actually see it through and give it the opportunity
Yeah.
to be fixed.
And if you start screaming, we're not going to do it. So just take that into note.
Speaking of cars.
Hey. Ty, go ahead. No, I'm
Who
just
the
kidding.
fuck-
Redhead, go ahead. What's up?
Speaking of cars, for the non-imported and will the prices go down in those cars because some of those cars shouldn't be as high as they should be?
That's all going to be different with this next update as well. Basically, every car up through the tuner DLC will be purchasable via PDM, every single one of them. So those are all in there. They're all going to have different pricing. Even the cars that we currently have now are going to have different pricing. So that will all be changed once we push that.
I mean, I had another question for the jail and stuff. Will cameras be actually active at the jail?
Maybe.
To be able to know what kind of prisoners it does escape. And
I mean, potentially, it's definitely something that is possible, and I'm looking into making that happen because I think that would be helpful. So yeah, definitely.
But we could also just check the roster when we go there and take a head count, and we say, "Oh, well, look at this. Ty's not here anymore." So it's, you know what I mean. We check the roster, and then we don't see him there.
So there is to be a way
People
of
are getting in
detecting
fights and
who's in.
Okay. But yeah, that'll be worked on for sure. We'll talk about that and get that worked out. Okay.
Okay.
Ty. Or that's not Ty. I don't know who you are.
Ty's not here.
This guy.
Braxton.
Referring back to like the place where you said like if you die you cannot return to the scene.
Yeah.
Do you mean fully dead or just down bleeding out?
Period.
Well,
you're
if you
down,
need to be picked up.
Yeah. If you need to go to the pillbox at any point, you're done. You're not coming back to that scene.
Bleeding
On
out
that-
or unconscious.
on
You're not
that-
going to be just like half dying and then
If
be
you're
able
the-
to come
Yeah.
back into the force immediately.
If you're one officer like that is able to get to pillbox and back, and then every officer is down, we cannot return to go and pick them up.
You can go. Okay.
You can go pick them
go
up,
pick
pick them
them
out
up.
of the scene, yeah, but you can't go back
You
to
can't
continue the chase
or the scene.
10-4, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Shelby.
I was just gonna mention fucking run by cuffing. People need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
because, like,
Well, that's
gonna be
actually
talked
I've got to
about.
fix
Fail
that.
RP.
Matter of fact, the fact that it's fail RP or an exploit or both, and also you're a dick if you do that. I have a fix for that. So now when you are cuffing, so right now I can obviously start cuffing and I can just keep moving and I can just cuff you all, right? So
Yeah.
in this update, when you are cuffing somebody, you will actually be frozen in place. This goes for the officers, this goes for the criminals, for everyone. So you know how the person you are cuffing is locked into an animation? You too, as the person cuffing, will be locked in an animation with them for the same duration. So you will not be able to run around cuff. You'll be able to cuff one person at a time You'll be stuck there until they're fully cuffed.
Let's go. You can now hold up cops when they're cuffing people.
All right. Monkey
I
mask.
think that's a little bit of an
Okay,
exploit.
so quick thing.
You guys done?
Since you know how like there can be 13 cops in the city at once, and there'll be one
Yes.
robbery and all 13 show up.
Yes.
Would there be
Yeah,
a way
we-
to put like a little bit of a limit on that?
I think
Yes.
it's
Yes.
very possible.
And
We'll
also,
probably
least in
have it
terms of
to
cars.
so we just gotta remember though at the same time, if you robbed a bank IRL, you're gonna have probably half of LA sitting outside that bank.
This
But
is
obviously
true.
this
Just
is
because
this
you're
is
four
this,
people,
yeah.
they're not going to send 4 cops. This is
So I'll work with Slug and the PD,
we
and
may
we'll
be
figure
able
out
to
a good
find a
decent
number,
number.
some percentage or something like that. And I mean, realistically, you also would probably still want some cops patrolling for other crimes. So I
Yeah.
mean, we could definitely figure something out though.
But I will tell you guys, if it's a bank robbery, there's gonna be at least 5 cops.
Probably, yeah.
yeah, that's
And, I mean,
reasonable.
plus, let's not forget some bank robberies specifically require 6 cops, and that is because they're intended to respond to it. So even though you're a 4-man gang, 6 people will respond to Pacific at least. I mean, that is
the
just
minimum,
a fact.
because that's
Yeah.
the big. That's the biggest
Right,
bank.
it
So I
literally
wouldn't be
requires
surprised if
6
there's
to
8 or
even
10
do
cops.
it. Right, that's what I'm saying. It requires
You got to
6 to
remember,
even
out
do
of
it.
those 5 and 6 cops, you got to leave one behind to get the hostages.
So yeah,
So, I
I
mean,
think that is true.
You could probably say like 10 cops is a reasonable for 4-man job for like a bank, because like one's gonna be left behind, then you know.
And
like,
we can figure out
5 cars
specific
chasing you.
numbers.
Yeah. Well, I just gotta let you guys know is that I'm just trying to, if we're gonna try and keep it real, we gotta compare it to real life. Like
Yeah,
if you rob a bank,
exactly.
you're gonna have half of the county sitting there like, what the fuck, dude? You know what I
Just
mean?
robbed half of the civilians' money.
Yeah.
Or
So,
what about like
so, yeah.
Air One though?
Can I
for
Air One?
Pligos versus Polito and Pacific,
Would it be Air Ones will always be used if there's a robbery.
for
Unless-
any robbery.
Yeah, unless it's
no.
unless it's.
Yeah, I mean, unless that's your demand.
Yeah, unless that's your demand.
Like you have demands for a reason.
They want to get A1 out, they can get A1 out, my guy.
What about guns like class 2s and against like a P99 pistol?
So if you're robbing a bank, we're gonna have a class 2 out because you're committing a major felony. Now, if we're coming up, now if it's just a regular shootout, we're gonna use our pistols. Now, if you kill a cop and you start killing multiple cops, yeah, cops are probably gonna start pulling out the big guns to take you out. But if it's just like a regular interaction, you shoot the cops, there's no reason why you should be getting shot with a level 2, and that will be talked about. But like if you're robbing a bank, you gotta expect to have the big guns pulled out.
Don't worry, Isadora. We'll always have our pistols out for you.
I'm behaving. I'm a good citizen this time.
So
Once you get
So,
some
yeah.
target practice, we might bump it
So
up.
yeah, we're also going to be working on the rules for
Okay,
class
Daddy.
2 as well. I need to be more in depth with when they can be used and when they can't be used. So
So we
I'll
will
be
work
going over
on
that.
outlining specific rules for that.
But just know if you're committing a major felony, you're gonna have big guns pointed at you.
Yeah. It definitely will be intended
Why not a
to
hammer,
with
man?
the crime. If it's a violent crime, all of those factors, those do factor into it.
Like a gang shootout, we're gonna have our big guns.
Yeah, man.
What about like those
So-
scenarios where like people rob the bank just to shoot it out, like just get into a shootout?
Then we're
Cop
gonna
baiting.
pull out the big guns. Yeah, that's
I
cop
mean-
baiting. Not necessarily, but well, that's a tricky one because they are still trying to rob the bank. If they want to
Yeah,
shoot out, then yeah,
so-
that's
It's
fine.
not fail RP, but it's dumb.
You want
RP.
to shoot out, you
Just
want
why
to
is your
shoot out.
character, going
Don't
to
complain
rob a
about the
bank?
results
Yeah,
of it.
just
but
don't
yeah.
complain about the result when we pull out class 2s and mow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get into a shootout and that's clearly what you want to get into, then you're gonna
And
get shot. At.
shootouts can be RP'd out in a good way as well with that. So
Agreed.
Yeah, just don't cry when you lose.
exactly.
That's for
Okay,
both
you
sides.
boys.
Not
Don't
just
cry
for,
when
not
you
just for Cops
finally
too, that's for
200
both
grand
sides.
as
Just don't
well.
cry when you lose.
This might be a strange question.
We're used to.
For headshots, do they have to be perfect aim?
What? What does that even mean?
What do you mean?
Like to be able to take down a cop?
What? What?
If
What
you
she's
hit a
asking
headshot,
is-
you hit a
It's just
headshot.
garbage.
Like for
Everybody
example,
goes down with
Well,
a
I mean,
headshot. If you get shot in the head, you're
That's
dying.
not always true. Some people
just
have
don't
shot
hit
in the
people
head
in the head.
twice.
Oh,
and they
helmets
haven't died.
do actually have an
that's
effect
why I
on
wear
that.
it.
They work now?
Test
Pretty sure
it.
heavy
Oh,
armor.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Well,
There's
right.
yeah,
Yeah, they do.
Heavy
They
armor
do.
does not give you a helmet. Trust me, I get domed all the time.
I've shot people in the head
One
before.
shot.
and they
Yeah,
were
see, I
helmets.
just shot.
Yeah.
I just shot him in the head.
Andrew talking.
Yep.
What's up, Andrew?
Okay, well, first of all, that's also a Magnum, and I already shot him in the head once, so I don't know about that.
So, does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
Because this is the best time to ask me, so I can help work.
I mean, and the
work out
downside is,
something,
of course,
guys.
not everybody's here, so half the people aren't going to hear these classes, but we are trying to get these coded into the rules so that everyone can actually read them later.
Okay. Someone can ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a fix to people like running away after being tased. So you know how like in real life when you get tased, you still have the prongs in you, and they
Yeah,
could re
and you're on the ground
Yeah, if we
squirming.
could
Yes.
like implement where they could just re-hit their taser, like since the prongs would still be in you, they could still electrify.
That is a possibility. I'm not sure because
have
of the way
something
the
like
GTA weapons are actually written. There is a way to change that, but I could definitely look into it.
What if criminals have to do like
you get hit with a taser?
what if we like have to take like the prong out to be able to continue?
Yeah, there could be an animation for that too. Yeah.
It could be like you'd be dazed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because there could definitely be a thing for having to remove the
Or
prongs.
you're just like you're slowed for like a little bit amount of time after.
Yeah,
being
I mean,
tased.
personally, in my experience, I found it plenty easy to get caught after being tased. Anyways, I don't feel like we necessarily needed to make it harder because of how easy it is to get caught when you're tased. But that was my personal experience. May not be everyone else.
We can play with the taser in the future.
Yeah.
Definitely. After this update, more than likely.
Officer right here, blonde hair.
So I already talked to you about this, Chief. But I just want to maybe get it across to everyone
please
here
reiterate
too.
it.
Jumping your vehicles off of high things should definitely be reworked, or at
So
least like
yeah, be realistic, guys. Like I get it, it is GTA, but like launching your car off of the freeway down like 250 feet and then you driving off like nothing's happened, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And if you guys want us being more realistic, you guys got to be more realistic too. It goes both ways.
He's not saying you can't
And-
do like
and-
big jumps or whatever. You know, it is still somewhat. You have to somewhat rely on it. The fact it's a game and you gotta have fun. But he's saying don't jump off the fucking top of Maze Bank, land in your car on the middle of the street and be like, "Yep, I'm good. Let's go."
Yeah.
So your
Yeah.
chassis would be smashed to pieces,
See,
and you know it.
smaller jumps I can understand, but if you're launching your car off a mountain, you're definitely blowing up.
Top of a car
Yeah,
park
or
or
like
something, you know?
that's
I've never
worst
seen
case
a car
scenario.
survive that.
I mean,
So
in my
And-
experience, every time I did do that, I did blow up. So
yeah, I've never seen a car survive that big of a jump. So I don't know
And-
what you guys are like seeing, but
I'm pretty sure
The
Andrew
one-
jumped off of Maze Bank and survived.
The one
I
thing
can see it
that
with
like
bikes. Bikes don't really blow up from being jumped.
yeah, but you fall off of them all the time.
You get a fight.
Yeah, we are looking at stalling. Yeah, stalling will be a thing in the future, hopefully.
Alrighty. So we got that one covered. Hope we're all in a good understanding on that one. Just be realistic, guys.
Actually, could I add
Diamond
on to that?
Casino.
Every time one question happens, there's three
like-
more behind it.
I know.
Again, like
you
the
guys...
same thing, like with that whole jumping stuff off. Like stop driving your cars into the lake, like or like water. It's just dumb. Just 'cause
Yeah,
you
we
don't wanna
can't
lose
tow it
the
out, and it's kind of fucked that they do that just to
Well,
avoid the impound.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, I've done that, but not with my own car because obviously I value my own car. I've done it with a stolen car and diving gear on.
But yeah,
That's
we'll
it.
we'll have to
like
talk about it.
having
We'll get
my
that figured out.
vehicle impounded for 3 days.
What up, bro?
Well, then don't do the crime.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Diamond, Los Santos, right over there, purple mask.
Well, I
What
don't know
up,
if
Connor?
this was brought up, but like the weapon sway, if you have like a red dot on like your heavy pistol, it's
Can you hear me?
completely like, and you're looking through your eyes, it throws it all off. I don't know if like there was a way to go to like maybe more of a recoil system where like you could actually learn to
Honestly,
control
I
it.
don't know because I'm pretty sure that is straight up built into FiveM.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I can look into it, but I cannot say for sure because we didn't used to have it
Hello?
until we updated with
Yo,
One
what's up?
Sync Infinity. It seems
Yeah.
to have just showed up on its
Hello,
own.
hello?
I didn't even do anything to make it happen.
Hello,
So
hello?
for all I know, it seems to be built straight in. It's not a specific
What did you
thing
think
I'm
of
running,
town
so
meeting?
I will have to look into that though. I'm honestly
Right.
not sure.
Okay, yeah, because it kind of just throws it all off, and it makes it hard to like actually use the site on that. But
Right.
I mean, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Miller.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen this script get used. I don't know if this is possible. There's a lot of times crims will stay in their
The
car when
updates
we
this
ask them
weekend,
to get
that'd
out of
be
their
cool,
car
though.
just to avoid anything.
Yeah.
And in real life, cops are able to actually pull people out of their car.
Yeah, I would definitely like that to be possible. So definitely
Yeah,
something I'd be
yeah,
down
try
to
and get my
do
car
because
out of
yes,
town.
you should
I
be
don't
able
wanna
to
make
pull
more work
people
for
out.
you either.
No, I agree. You should
No,
be
that
able
is
to
something
pull
we can look
people
into.
out because otherwise we're relying on people to just not be fail and not get
Yeah.
out when you clearly could have pulled them out at that point. which leaves you to have to do something violent now, which is stupid.
We
You
could
shouldn't
probably add
have
something
to.
to the eyeball for cops.
Yes, I am sure it's possible because if you can put somebody in a car, I'm sure you can take somebody out of the car.
Yeah.
It could
If
just
we
be
can
like
make it a little bit of a
car
struggle, that would
escort or
be
something, yeah.
interesting too.
That would be. I would enjoy that.
Two-way game. I don't know.
What the fuck is going on?
Okay.
I'm just testing something.
Monkey Mask, it looks like you're the.
Okay,
Can you
so...
tase people and get them out of the car? They don't actually
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they
so
do.
then
They do come out of the
okay,
car.
so I would say smash the window and tase them is probably the best call.
But there's really
forward.
nothing for us to smash the window. Like I had
flashlight.
Your flashlight or baton. And
Yeah.
then you just tase them through the window. And
That would be my recommendation for now.
Just
Monkey
shoot him in the
Mask,
head,
go ahead.
man. Pick up the body.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay, so with the sway, I'm good with the sway, but like if we could like reduce it with pistols because, like.
Yeah, I'm honestly. I'll look into how it works because I'm honestly not sure that
I
one
was
thing
gonna
in
say,
particular.
like, the 2-pound pistol.
So I'm
I
currently looking into
shouldn't be
sway and
struggling
recoil.
with it.
Okay. I see that the lady over here has been saying
got
some
a-
stuff.
they,
Yes. So if you're on a bike and you're going below 10 miles an hour, we're gonna tase you off the bike because bikes are kind of broken as it is. There's actually a lot of cities where you can't even use a bike in a crime.
On the note of bikes, I was gonna say in other cities they legitimately don't even let you use bikes in robberies. They barely let you use bikes anywhere. So
You have
we
to
are
swap to them.
we are seriously lenient with bikes compared to a lot of other cities because I still watch other cities. I see what they do. I see the rules they have, and I think about how that impacts their city. But there's a relatively successful city I was looking at that only now implemented robbing because people treat it like shit when they have it, and they don't allow any robbing or crime on bikes at all. I don't want to go that far. I really don't. I want us to be able to
So
use
you have
them.
to swap. You have to do a 2-minute chase in at least the car, the 4-door, or the 2 doors, whatever you decide, outside the bank, and then you have to do a 2-minute chase, and then you can swap.
And we're not
the
even
bikes.
doing that right now, so we can consider that if we need to. But for now, yeah, just keep in mind. I mean, bikes
Try not
are.
to put the bike outside the bank for fuck's sake. Like try and at least swap to it.
I mean,
for now.
that's not a terrible idea, just for your own sake. But yeah.
But no, you shouldn't be getting tased in your car while you're driving. If that happens,
No.
it could be on accident. And again, that will be rectified if you just communicate and not freak
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
It
communication
happened. I shot
for
a cop the other day by
everything.
mistake. I think it was.
I shot John today
it was
by
co-op,
mistake.
Right? No.
Wait, why are you not
No.
dying? Oh, you
God
fucking...
mode.
But also, guys, while we're on the same note, you guys, all you crims and cops,
so
you guys
quick on
can
that,
come
bro.
and talk to me whenever you guys have a problem and you guys want to talk about something that could possibly get changed. I know there's a reputation of saying that I'm not going to listen to you, but if you start coming at me
that's
screaming,
bullshit.
but if you start coming at me screaming, and yelling, I'm not going to listen to you,
Then
as
he's
many people have found out. If you're going to disrespect me, then why should I listen to you and take your account seriously?
And this is a good time for me to also mention, if you're going to disrespect other staff members, say rude shit to them, don't expect to come talking nice to me like I'm not going to hear about that. Of course I'm going to hear about that. So it's like people think that they can go around other staff members, that I will somehow disagree. Maybe, sometimes, maybe, but the reason these people are staff is because I generally agree with them, and I think they generally have the same values and want to see the same things. So it's like, don't just think you can just my DMs are open for a reason. I leave them open in case anyone has a problem, especially with a staff member that they don't feel comfortable opening a ticket about. Okay, let me know. Like, I don't respond to everything immediately, but depending on the severity, I will certainly get back to you. But I'm just saying, don't think that you can go say rude shit to them and then I'm not going to hear about that and you can just talk to me nice like nothing happened. Like, there's not this disconnect. It's a team, so we're all on the same page as much as we can be.
So, like he's saying, like I'm saying, you guys can come talk to me. I'm not gonna be rude to you. Just because my character is a dickhead ass chief does not mean I'm a dickhead outside. I'm not a dickhead outside. I will answer your question respectfully, but if you start being disrespectful to me, I'm not gonna help you. It's just like, anywhere else in the world, you're not gonna be disrespectful to somebody that you want to help. So like, you guys are free to blow up my DMs and ask me questions. I'll answer them to my best of my ability. So, if there's any of that lingering stuff thinking where I'm just gonna be a dick, that's not gonna happen. If you just come to me calm and I'll talk to you calm. It's a give and take relationship here.
At the end of the day, we all have fun here. That's the point. It's like I am really hesitant to bog us down with unnecessary rules or make things more complicated than they need to be. I would rather people just have some common sense and act reasonably than me have to make a rule about every little thing, because we shouldn't need that. I mean, really, it should be about the fun, about having a good time. So I really just try to keep that in mind. I don't think any of the people here are a problem, because if you were a problem, you probably wouldn't be here right now. I mean, it's just, try to spread that on to other people as well, is really all I'm saying. It's just, it's a game. We're here to have fun. It shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be making you upset. And if it is, it's okay to take a break. That's fine too. All of the above. So,
I want to add on that. Also, guys, oh fuck, I just totally forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Fuck. It was super good too. I got it. I got it back again. Okay, guys. Here, if this is one that's been this is one that will bother the shit out of staff. If we tell you to stop doing something in the Discord and you proceed to not stop, and you want to sit there and argue,
muted.
if you want to sit there and start arguing, but depending on who is there, you may run the risk of being permabanned and never being let back. We're not going to have you disrespecting staff in the Discord when they tell you to stop. I'm letting you guys know this right now. If I see it, you're just going to be banned.
Same goes
okay?
for me.
Because it's not
really
okay.
It's not about a power trip. Just think about the fact that other people come in here and the first thing they see is our Discord, and the first thing they see is people just going off at each other about personal situations. They think it's toxic and they leave. We're all investing a lot of time into this. Don't just think about this from our perspective. Think about it from your own perspective. You are going to lose the best players because of that stuff. The people that leave, and I'm saying this in the sense of watch other people too. Feel free to let them know, hey, you probably should open a ticket instead of talking about in there, because you guys are going to lose good players who are going to come in here and say, these guys all look like they suck. They're going to make a judgment about all of us, and they're going to leave. It's really in all of our best interest.
But it's not a power trip. It's that we're just not gonna. We've been very, very nice to people about stuff, about letting people do that. But right as of this moment now, it's a zero tolerance. So you run the risk of getting yourself permanently banned.
A lot more serious. I mean, once we are past this update, we've been waiting to do this one big thing all at once, but then there's going to be a lot of little things being rolled out over time going forward. But the main point here is just that, shit is starting to get serious in a good way. We're going to have a lot more people around after this. I am paying for more boosts, so we will get a lot more exposure and have a lot more people. We peaked out at 60 players last time, and that's with half of what we're about to do this time. So I'm expecting it's going to be twice as much. We're going to have twice the response. So I would not be surprised if we are actually full, and that is going to be exciting, but it's going to be overwhelming. There's going to be a lot of shit going on. So
I just want to make sure that everybody understands.
I mean, I probably have a
how
few
the
more
staff
things.
team is
I don't
going to be
wanna drag
handling
this
from
out,
here on out.
but yeah.
So if you just start disrespecting us, don't be surprised if you get yourself banned from the Discord.
We got
And then another thing, if you go into a staff's DM and you start BMing them, don't expect to come back. I understand people, can be hotheads and they can be angry, but don't do that. Just wait till you can cool down the talk.
A ticket, we've had a conversation in, and I've already closed. I'm just gonna block you. I haven't got time. I've got other things I need to do. So if I've already made my final say on that ticket, don't think that, oh, let's continue arguing in the ticket in a DM. Just give it 10 minutes and then come back to me. Go chill out.
I want to
I've
also
probably got
mention
20 other things I gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I just want to mention, not that again, I think this is any of the people in here, but don't fucking tell people, oh, you're gonna get banned. You shouldn't have done that. You're gonna get banned. Don't do that. Don't. Yes, some people call it rule splaining, but literally that. Open a ticket. Let us deal with it. Let us address the people in the way they need to be addressed. There's never a situation I'm not saying don't help somebody out a little bit and be like, hey, by the way, that's the thing you're not allowed to do. It's when you sit there saying, you just did that. You're not allowed to do that. Slug's gonna ban you. Trey's gonna ban you. Don't do that. Just don't do that. The next person I hear doing that is going to get banned, whether or not the other person was breaking a rule or not. I don't think that's anyone here. I really don't.
Know we're fair. So
that's
just
the thing.
open a
Yeah,
ticket with us,
it's
have a conversation.
really, I just want to have conversations with people. I am never going to jump to just banning people. The only people I insta-ban are cheaters.
Yeah. There's always a conversation.
Can I change my name?
Yes.
Monkey Man. I think Monkey Man's
Except no,
fine.
I'm gonna leave your name forever.
Practice better.
What? Yeah.
Nutrition.
Yeah, it's just always no. We're gonna change all name changes. Just put in that form, and I'm gonna do them all at once. If anyone's got a name change, put them in the form. We're gonna do them all at once. Okay, okay. And like, let's do that now, because in the future, with a working MDT and things like that, it's gonna fuck up a lot of stuff. We're probably not gonna be able to do name changes after that. So we're gonna recommend you straight up. Okay, no, no. What's happening? There's no purge. Stop it.
Don't
Wait.
do it.
No, no, no. Everyone stay
Time to go have
still.
fun.
All right, all right.
my
Yes,
ankle
yes.
got
I think
moved
we can
before then.
probably cut this here unless anyone else has anything to add. But I think,
This is gonna be fun.
and if we have more, more frequent meetings, they won't need to be as long. I'm probably going to try to do one of these every 2 weeks or every week, so they can be a lot shorter. There's just a lot of rule changes and shit to address. So are we all good with the rules? John, do you have anything to add?
I have
No, I think that's
blood
good.
on my
I mean,
back.
Trey, do you have anything to add? Where's Trey?
We love you.
Yeah, same here. Like, I really
Hey,
don't.
John, could I
yeah.
ask you a question?
Still purge, guys. Just no purd.
Exactly.
About like
Wish there was.
like 1 day a week, but like having a separate like channel in the Discord or something with where we have like a court, like.
All right, so if everyone's good here, nobody else has questions, I would say fan out like right now. Stop killing people. I don't want to pick them up. God damn it.
Gotta kill the
Stop
chief.
picking anyone up.
Get out!